Welcome to Heart of Gold. How's everyone doing? Yeah, that's the energy I like to see. Thank you so much for being here. You are in for a treat, let me tell you. I am so excited for what you're going to learn, how much you're going to grow, and the tools that are going to be given to you to implement into your life. My name is DJ Benkin. I'm a mentor with 3 Key Elements, and I'm the guy behind the curtain. I'm the AV team advisor. I am really excited for you. Thank you so much. You've made a fantastic decision being here. I know that you've had families that are helping you to be here. You've got friends that are helping you to be here. And so let's go ahead and give a big round of applause for all of those who have supported you in being here tonight. Excellent. So, how many of you is this your first 3 Key Elements event? All right. Make a loud noise. All right. That's a good number of you. Fantastic. Well, when I first started with 3 Key Elements, it was about 2 years ago, and I came into the company and was really impressed with the values it stood for, the tools that I used in my own life, and the life-changing experience I had. And when I came into the company, I quickly learned I wasn't alone, that there were a ton of people that had the same experience I was having. 3 Key Elements has been recognized by Inc. 500 5000 4 consecutive years in a row as one of the fastest growing companies in America. They've been celebrated by the Utah 100 for the last 4 years. They've received Best in State awards, and they've been featured in Forbes magazine 3 times. Let's give a big round of applause for those accomplishments. So like I said to begin with, 3 Key Elements didn't set out, Kirk did not set out to earn all these achievements and accomplishments. And that's what really attracted me to 3 Key Elements and to what I was learning. The mission statement of the company really impressed me. Our mission statement is, empower the human mind to improve relationships and increase personal power and inspire self-mastery. Does that sound like something you guys can get behind? Yeah. And so let's give a big round of applause for empowering people. Excellent. Heart of Gold is one of my all-time favorite classes. And oh my goodness, I am so excited for you because this is a bonus class. This is a class that Kirk can be a little more candid. This is off the clock time for Kirk. And what that means is you really get to see a side of Kirk that is fun, exciting, and he shares really personal stories with us. What you'll learn from this class, because what I learned from this class was massively beneficial in my life. What you'll learn is, first of all, you'll learn how to identify and move past obstacles or walls that are holding you back. You'll be able to identify your purpose. He'll give you tools to do that. You'll be able to increase your positive results in your life. Who wants more positive results? Yeah. You'll increase your personal inspiration. He'll talk a lot more about the spiritual side of the tools and techniques that we teach here at 3 Key Elements. And you'll improve relationships, and you'll feel and experience life at a deeper level. Make a loud noise if you can get behind at least one of those things. Yeah. Excellent. Kirk Duncan, at first he was the president of 3 Key Elements. He was my boss. At this point, 2 years later, and I know a lot of you can feel exactly the same way with the time and the personal relationship you feel you've developed with him, I honestly consider him one of my closest and dearest friends. He's changed my life. As you probably know, Kirk he's an introverted individual. It doesn't come natural for him to get out on stage and share his life-changing experiences with the world, but he does it. And because of that, he changed my life and my family's life. I had a personal experience where I came to Kirk's classes. I came to Heart of Gold, actually, and I learned tools to learn how to really become more aware of what was going on inside my head. I found out that a lot of the things that I was thinking, I didn't know I was thinking. That the thoughts were just racing through my head. And as I gained tools and techniques to become more aware of what I was doing. I had a son who, 2 years old, and I felt like our relationship was a little distant, was a little strained. He really attached to my wife, and he wouldn't come to me very often, and I used these techniques to really identify how I felt about my son and to increase my personal intuition and inspiration. And one day when I was home with him, I was sitting there watching him, and I realized a thought went through my head that went, man, I don't connect well with my son. And I immediately saw a reaction to that thought, and I learned a technique to change that thought, to manage the thoughts in my head. And I changed that to, what does my son need to connect with me? And I gave that to him. And oh my goodness, even just over the last 2 months, the relationship with my son is so much stronger. And I know that as you listen to Kirk tonight, and as you hear these principles, don't just write them down and put the book away and never look at them again, but apply them into your life. And as you take these principles and apply them into your life, you will experience life-changing situations and life-changing results. Kirk is he's recognized as a national mentor, a trainer, and a premier body language expert. And because of his awareness and his ability to look at you and give you personal insight in how you can benefit your life, my life has changed. Go ahead and do this for me. Go ahead and turn and touch the neighbor on your shoulder and shake him a little bit and tell him, you are going to love this. Excellent. Who is excited to break through whatever is holding you back? Who is ready for a major life upgrade? Then please join with me in bringing to stage your trainer for this evening, Mr. Kirk Duncan.
Thank you, DJ. Hey, how you doing? Oh my goodness. Great to see you. Do something for me really fast. Wrap your arm around the person next to you. And if you don't have anybody there, scoot over. Okay, hold on to that person just for a moment. Hold on to that person just for a moment. Don't let go of them. Don't let go of them. Hold on to him just for a moment. This person right here sitting next to you probably has not had a hug like this in a long time. And I see some of you already pulling your arms in. Come on, keep that arm around him just for a moment. I saw that. Hold on to him just for a moment. There's a force out there in the world that is trying to drive a wedge between you and other people. And this force does not want you and I to connect, or the two of you to connect, and to be able to have this experience that you're having right now. There's a force out there that wants to get you away from people. Pull them in a little bit closer. And just let that person next to you know, nothing's going to come between you and me, my friend. Nothing. Nothing's going to come between you and me. Okay, we just hit the creepy line. Let go. All right. I know, you probably had some stranger next to you, and you're like, whoa, that was too much, Kurt. Well, my friends, we're here tonight to talk about a heart of gold, and a heart of gold is this. It is very simple and straight to the point. A heart of gold is a heart that is open. A heart of gold is a heart that is open. It's a heart that's open and wants to invite people in. A heart of gold is open, that wants to invite people in, and it wants to share what it has inside with everybody else. A heart of gold is something that has value, cares about oneself, and cares about others. But right now in the world, what we have is we have people building heart walls. And not just one, but they're building 2 and 3 and 4 heart walls to protect themselves, to block them from people. And there's so many situations in the world right now. I mean, you get on social media, you can have one person comment at you and be the nastiest, meanest person out there in the world, and it will shut you down. We got people out there in the world who don't know how to manage their emotions and don't know how to manage their language. And we got people out there that are hurtful. And what's happening is you're noticing us as a people starting to shut off, to block ourselves, protect ourselves. What's happening is that heart of gold's turning into a heart that is dark and alone. And that is the adversary's plan. Tonight is a spiritual conversation. It's a spiritual conversation, and I'm going to share with you my point of view and the things that I've been seeing happening that's not working, and it's hurting a lot of people. And before the night's over, I'm going to empower you with some actions that you can do to open this heart back up and reach that heart of gold status again. That it's open to receive, it's open to share, and that value exchange is happening on a daily basis. Now, I get your family. Your family's just like my family. You have good days for about 10 minutes, and then you have other days, and you keep striving to have these awesome days and just want it to be awesome every single day all the time. And our family's just like your family. Kim and I have been married for over 25 years now, and super excited that we've made it 25 years. Yeah, oh my goodness, you celebrate anybody that's lasted another week and another month in their marriage, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal to hold that marriage together. We have 3 boys, Cameron, Cody, and Caden. We got 3 boys, and raising 3 boys has been just a fantastic experience. Man, I'm glad I had 3 kids, because Cameron, he's my first boy. I messed up way bad on him. And I tell him every day, I'm so sorry I messed up on you. And he's like, it's okay, Dad. I'll just ask for money later. He's so funny. But he's got a good heart. And I tell him all the time, Cameron, you got free mentoring for the rest of your life. I'll help you with whatever you got going on. Because, man, as a new dad, I made a lot of mistakes. And I really tried to make Cameron like the perfect child. And, man, I said some mean things to him when he's growing up. And I still, as a father, boy, I wish I could go back and erase some of those moments. Am I the only dad in here that has done some of that stuff? Yep, I'm the only dad in here. Oh, me and that guy right there, and that guy. Oh, good, there's some more guys. Okay, all right. So being a parent, it's like you're trying to do everything right, but then all of a sudden you find out it's wrong, and so being married for 25 years, raising 3 kids, wow, that's an experience all by itself, right? Well, the Duncans, my family that I'm representing here tonight, the Duncans, we're a spiritual family. We're a church-going family. And we're kind of a funny family that way when it comes to church stuff because, as we talk spiritual talk tonight, I'm also going to bring up some church things which are kind of fun and funny. And if you ever want to know where the Duncans are at church, we're sitting on the front row. Right up there on the front row. But if somebody's sitting on the front row, we're on the second row right in the middle. And I think if you asked all my boys and me if that's really where we want to sit, we'd say no, because we'd want to sit in the back so we can play tic-tac-toe and that kind of stuff. But Mom drags us to the front row. She gets us to the front row. And I really believe when I get to the gates of heaven, Mom's going to be standing there, my wife. She's going to be standing there going, okay, everybody get into heaven. I got you to church. I got you here. But my wife is just an angel in our family. And we're churchgoers, and we sit up front, and we're right there. Right there, right? I mean, your head's like this because you're looking at the people up there at the pulpit teaching their thing. But we've learned that the spiritual side of life is a super important part. The reason is because when it comes to spiritual things have to do with your soul, right? And your character. Have to do with how you're doing on the inside, and how to be good on the inside so your goods can show up on the outside. Well, I was raised as a churchgoer, and we continued that with our own children. And I'll tell you, even if you're not a churchgoer, I think it's super important to pay attention to your soul. I don't know if you believe in the devil or not, but he's real. And I know there's some people out there who like to say he's not real, but there's a scripture that says that people are going to say that. If you have read that scripture before. But I want you to know that I know the devil's real. And I can tell you, I know that personally. The reason why I know I can say that personally is because he came after me, meaning to take me out of the picture. Years and years and years ago, went through a really big struggle. And in that struggle, I got super down on myself and had a lot of negative talk in my head, a lot of discouragement talk inside my head. And what happened was he got in my head so much, literally, his talking, the devil's talking, got inside my head. Now, I don't know if you grasp that concept yet or not, but what I just shared with you is the devil talks to us. And it's not just him. He's got a whole crew, a whole army of minions that work for him, right? A whole army. And they go around talking to us all the time, suggesting things, saying things to us over and over and over again. And I don't know if you know this either, but they know how our brain is put together. They know how we're put together. And they know that if they keep saying the same thing to us over and over and over and over again, we actually begin to believe it. Kind of like repetition. Whatever we do over and over and over and over again actually becomes part of us. And so the devil, he picks out things to say to us. Things that are going to make us feel down or feel discouraged or our value drops. And he's just going to keep saying them to us all day long. And as long as we let him keep talking to us, those comments are going on all day long. You see, I meet people who think that all the talking inside their head is their own voice. And it's not. The devil's real, and he really talks to us. And if you don't believe me, go read the book of Genesis. Go read the book of Genesis. I mean, he's in there talking to Adam and Eve and trying to convince them of doing things. So he's real. And I think it's something that we ought to consider and remind ourselves that he's real and he's talking to us. So you ever heard the comment that says the devil's in the details? Yep. I ponder on that when I wake up in the morning. Where is he going to show up today? Where is he going to show up? He's in this somewhere. Where is he? And so as I wake up in the morning and I look around me and I see my green grass in the backyard and I see my neighbors and I see the sun come up and I see these things, you see, I want to make sure I'm consciously looking for where the devil's going to show up. Because years ago, he snuck up on me. And he got super close to me. In fact, it got so close, I almost checked out of this life. When I was in my downtime and being depressed, he was talking to me so much, I could not even tell what was going on inside my head. I didn't know if it was me. I didn't know if it was somebody else's voice inside my head. And back then, I didn't realize the power the devil had to get inside my head and say stuff. But in that time when I was down, I had so many comments in my mind, and my head was swirling so bad of all this hurtful things about myself and discouraging things about myself that literally my face right here and right here on my face started to go numb. There was so much stress inside my body. And I told Kim, I said, man, something's happened in my face, and we couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure out what was happening to me. But later down the road, I realized it was because of all the conflict that was going on inside my head. Well, I had bad stuff happening at work. I worked for a different business at that time and had bad things happening at work, and at home, things weren't lining out, and all this negative talk in my head, and I slip into this depression, and there's all different levels of depression. And my level of depression was come home and just go to bed. Go to work, do the minimum, hardly do anything. And that got me in trouble. So I was in trouble at work and trouble at home. And the drive home every day was just a review of everything I wasn't doing right, everything I was doing bad. And sometimes driving home, that conversation in my mind was just downright mean. Really, really mean. But I'd push my way through it, and get home and go on with my daily stuff. But this one day, it got pretty bad. Had some terrible things happen at work, got yelled at a couple times, and I had about a 25-minute drive home, and I was driving home, and no music playing, just driving in this truck on the way home, and the thought process went like this. You know, Duncan, you can't do anything right, can you? And inside my head, I agreed with it. I go, yeah, I can't do anything right. The next comment said, you see how your boss doesn't like you? I mean, he can't stand you. Isn't he just an idiot? And in my mind, I would agree with it. Yeah, he's an idiot. I can't do anything right. Then the next comment said, oh, you notice how Kim is not happy with you and the kids just don't want to be around you? Oh, doesn't that just make you just not want to be around them? Yeah, that makes sense. And I was being led down this path of questions and statements. I had a 25-minute drive home, and this conversation was going on inside my mind, and I did not know who was leading the conversation. I thought it was all me. So 10, 15 minutes are going by, and the conversation gets more and more intense. I went on to say things like this. You know how good it would feel to just like get away from everybody and just leave? I mean, just get away from an upset boss and a family that doesn't want to be around. Don't you think it'd just feel good just to get away? Yeah, I agreed with that thought. And then I started thinking like, maybe I should just sneak home and pack my bags and leave and just run away for a while. And then actually in that moment I thought, no wonder some dads leave families. I get it, why they do. Makes sense. Seems like an escape. So I'm thinking about these ideas about how I could run away and get away from my family and get away at work. And I was thinking, oh, I know where there's some money. I could just take our last little bit of money and just run away and nobody know where I'm at. So I'm agreeing with these thoughts. The next thought that happened in my mind said, yeah, and then when you get away, you can be permanently gone. Never come back home. Never come back to this place again. Like just run away, start a whole new life. Just be totally gone. Now you can hear the language, what's happening here. First it was, aren't you tired of these people? Next was, don't you want to just get away? Next part was, don't you just permanently want to go away? And all this conversation was leading me to leave my family or to go off someplace and just leave everybody else behind. Well, then the next comments happened, and they went like this. Well, instead of leaving, why don't you think of ways that you could just be gone now? Wouldn't you just feel better if you could just get away from this pain? I was like, yeah, this hurts, man. This is bad, and I feel terrible, and I just hate this feeling. Hate it. And the conversation turned to me getting away from my feelings. Well, the next conversation, it went like this. You know, Kirk, when you get home, you could make all this go away and never have to deal with this again. And that intrigued me. Like, oh my gosh, what could that be? What could I do to make this all go away? And the voice kicked in again and said, well, you could just be gone. Yeah, I just need to be gone. I need to be out of everybody's life. I had literally no idea I was being walked down this path of conversation. And you can hear where it's going. About this point, I get off on 90th South exit down in Sandy here in Salt Lake City, and I'm getting off the exit, and I'm about 5 minutes from my house. And as I'm getting off the exit, the conversation in my mind, the voice says this, you know, when you get home, it'd be really easy. Go home, you know where your hunting guns are, and you could go out in the garage and make sure, you don't make a mess or anything, and you can just make sure nobody hears it, and nobody will even know, and they won't even miss you for quite a while, and later, don't worry about it. It won't even make a mess, and you'll just make everything so much better. So I'm pulling off the exit, I'm thinking these thoughts of like, that makes sense. I'll just go get my gun, and I'll just go out in the garage, and I'll just over in the corner, and nobody will know, and I can kind of cover myself up, and it'll take them a long time before, they won't even miss me anyway. So I'm pulling off the exit, and I'm 5 minutes from my house, and then there's all these orange barrels. there's some construction going on, and oh man, I got to go through these detours, and I'm starting to get a little irritated that I have to go through construction. It's going to take long because I need to go home and kill myself. Like, I was in the state of like, oh my gosh, this construction's in my way. I got to go home and take care of this. Well, I get through the construction, and I get to State Street, and now I'm 3 minutes from my house. And I'm sitting there at the light with full intention, I'm done. It all makes sense. It makes such clear sense. I need to remove myself from the equation and just be gone. And it just makes total sense. Like, there's no question in my mind. And I'm sitting there at this intersection just walking through the steps, what I need to do and how it's going to happen and those kind of things. And the light's still red, it's still red, it's still red. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing. And I had been listening to this voice. Well, sitting at the light, a new voice popped up. And this new voice says this to me: Kirk, have you forgotten who you are? I was like, what? What is that voice? I've been listening to this voice over here, and like that one sounded so foreign. It was like, what? What's that in my head? Over here, this voice has been leading me the right way. It felt right. It felt like it's going to take care of everything. And this other voice popped up, and it really kind of shocked me. And I was like, what? Because over here, I had so much attention. I was so dialed in. And this was kind of just like odd. And this voice over here said it again. Kirk, have you forgot who you are? And again, it didn't hit. I didn't feel it. I didn't hit. And I'm still over here just like, no, I got to take care of this. The light turns green. I'm 3 minutes from my house. I go to put my foot on the gas to go through the intersection. And just as I start to put my foot on the gas, this voice says one more time, Kirk, have you forgot who you are? And then this voice projected an image into my mind. And for this short moment, this image in my mind just lit up in my mind. I mean, just as bright as everything, this image just lit up in my mind. And there was this man standing in front of me. Had armor on with dents in it and scars on it and dirt on it. And he had arms that were massive, muscular. Sword that was just crazy awesome. This battle helmet that just said, I win every battle I go into. And I just had this image of this gladiator standing in front of me, and he's just huge. And I sat there and I looked at this person, and in through the helmet, I looked in there and I saw inside there my face. And it was me. And I quickly looked at the back of the arms and I went, those are great arms. I'm not kidding. I really did. I looked at the whole image and I went back to the arms. I went, I can be that strong? I can be that muscular? And my next thought was so funny and so crazy in this moment of weirdness that's going on because I'm like supposed to go take my life next. But I thought in that moment, I thought, man, if Kim saw that, she'd kiss me all day long. But I had this, I'm like, I got this conflict. Like, no, I'm 3 minutes away from home, from ending everything. And now this voice is trying to convince me I forget who I am. And I see this image. Oh, my goodness, this image. Oh, to see that image of that stature of me and just being this leader, this gladiator who defends and protects people. I pull through the intersection. I'm driving up the hill. I got gladiator in my mind, and I have me in a pile in my garage dead. I have two images in my mind. I'm driving 3 more blocks, and I got to turn right and go 4 houses down, and that's my house. I'm like almost there, and I got gladiator dead in the garage. Nobody knows where I'm at. I got 2 images going back and forth, and it's like, hold on. No, this is what's supposed to make everything go better. But this image over here is just pulsing at me, going, this is who you are. Don't forget who you are. This is what you got to do. This is who you are. I turned down the road, and I'm driving up towards my house, and it's fourth house down on the right, and this image is getting bigger of Gladiator. And this image over here is starting to get a little skewed, like, what? Starting to lose some power, and I pull into the driveway, I park the truck, and I'm sitting there, and I turn it off, and I'm looking at the garage, and the garage is right there in front of me, and I've got this Gladiator image that's like, are you serious? Like, come on, man, that's not me. Look at me. I'm broke. I'm the fattest I've ever been in my entire life. I'm so unhealthy. My toes and my left foot are going numb. Like, I'm not taking good care of myself, and nobody's pleased with me. My wife's not pleased. My boss isn't pleased. Nobody's pleased. And this way looked just so tempting to just make it all go away. But this image keeps pulsing at me. And I'm sitting there in the truck, and there's the garage, and I'm just a couple minutes from just making it all go away. And then a few seconds later, someone's pounding on the door of my truck. Bam, 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 bam. I look around, and I can't see anybody. I'm like, who's pounding on my truck? Bam, 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 bam. Like, they're knocking on the truck, and I'm looking around. I'm like, what? Who is this? Looking around, and then I hear, hey, Dad, what you doing in there? I roll my window down, I look out, and there's little Cameron. He's about yay tall, just a little guy. Now he's like 90 foot something. But back then, he's just this little guy, and he's looking up because he'd walked home from school. And he was pounding on the truck, and I looked down, and I was like, Cameron, what are you doing? He goes, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing in your truck, Dad? And then what are you supposed to say? Hey, Dad, what you doing? Do I lean out the window and tell him? I'm looking at the garage. This image over here of getting away from everything. It was so big and it made so much sense. This other voice that popped up that showed me this Gladiator image, just like, who's this? Is that really me? And then heaven sent the reinforcements. My little guy. They sent Cameron to pound on my truck because I wasn't getting it. And I look out to Cameron, I'm like, what are you doing, Cameron? He goes, Dad, hey, let's go play Legos. I'm like, I can't. I got stuff to do. Dad, get out of the truck. Let's go play Legos. Cameron, Dad, come on, let's go play Legos. I want to play Legos with you. I never in a million years would have thought Legos were going to save my life. I get out of the truck. Cameron's walking me in the house. He's like, Dad, I got something I want to build. You want to come help me build something? I said, what do you want to build, Cameron? He goes, I don't know. I just got all these pieces, and I just love building stuff. It's so fun to build stuff. You like building stuff, Dad? Yeah, I do, Cameron. He goes, well, Dad, you doing okay? Let's go play Legos together. So I went inside, and I hung out with Cameron. Laid on the floor. We dumped the Legos out in a big pile, and he would put stuff together. And he had these little Legos, and he'd put these pieces together, and he'd go, hey, Dad, what do you think about what I built? I said, that's awesome, Cameron. And he goes, what are you going to build, Dad? I said, I think I know what I need to build. He goes, what's that? I think I need to build me. I think I need to rebuild me. I think there's something I'm missing. And I didn't tell him what happened that day. But he got to me playing with those Legos and building stuff and putting those pieces together and watching him select things and build what he was imagining. And he was just building whatever he could come up with, and then he'd show me. And then he would change it and build something else. And then we'd build things together. And I sat there looking at him, and I'm going, you know what? I'm not involved with my personal life enough. I'm not building me. And then all of a sudden, I'm laying there playing Legos, and I'm starting to realize what I almost just did. I'm like, are you serious? What? Oh my gosh. Dad, you okay? Oh my goodness. I can't believe what I almost just did. I'm thinking this in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. How does a good church boy like Kirk get the devil to get in his head and to take Kirk down and almost take him out? I mean, in that moment, I'm realizing it makes sense why people take their lives. It's a path that you get led down that is convincing. In that moment, I've had friends who have they've taken their life by suicide. I've got so many friends and so many people I know that have done it, and I've always claimed, like, I don't understand why they did that. And in that moment, it's like I had a moment of respect for them. Of just going, oh my gosh, the devil is one tricky, sly, lying, manipulative person who knows what he's doing. And he almost got me. And I thought in that moment, playing with Cameron, I was like going to just kind of simmer out and get over it. I had to get up from playing Legos and kind of walk in the other room because I was getting all wound up. I'm going, how'd this happen? How did it get to me? And I started backtracking, like, what did he say? What did he say next? And how did it get me here? And what happened this morning? And what happened yesterday and last week and last month? I mean, my mind just hooked in, trying to figure out, how did he get into my world? How come I did not see him coming? And you guys, I'm a good scripture reader. I see his techniques in the scriptures, and I go to church and I learn. But I have never, up until this point in my life, ever paid so much attention to where is he sneaking in my life now until that day. It fired me up. I went and got a journal. I started writing down my thoughts, everything that happened. I didn't tell Kim what happened that day for years. In fact, I feel so bad. She didn't find out this story that I just shared with you until she was sitting in the back of a class I was teaching, and I told the story for the first time. And after the class, she walked up to me and she goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Oh my gosh, I was never going to share that story, and I felt like I needed to share that story with that audience, and honey, I never told you what happened that day." And she started to bawl. She goes, "Kirk, I didn't even know." I said, "I couldn't tell you back then because we were not in a position for me to bring that up." And she goes, "But you almost did that?" I said, "He's tricky, Kim. The devil's really tricky. And I don't think us or some of our friends and family, I don't think they look for where he's sneaking in. I think they just think he's not here. He's not doing anything. He's not anywhere. And they don't think he's here because the sun's shining, because you're happy making breakfast or you're going along and things are just fine. We don't think he's in there somewhere." I said, "Kim, he's very tricky." And that day, we had a big, long talk about what happened to me that day. Big, long talk. And I shared a lot of things with her that had been going on with me. You guys, tonight, I hope I get a chance to share everything I want to share with you tonight, because I want to help you see where he's doing some things so you can stop him in his tracks. I hope you listen tonight, and I hope you take some notes, and I hope you write some things down, because my move is I saw a picture of me, and I know what I look like when I'm buff, and it's pretty hot. But I'm looking like, wow, oh my goodness, I should probably start lifting weights or something. But man, the image represented to me that I'm to teach people how the devil gets in our heads, how he gets in. Because if you don't know how he gets in, you don't know where to block him. You know, in the scriptures, how it teaches us to fortify our city and to protect us against the enemy out there. I want to know, really, you ought to consider thinking to yourself, what do you do every day to protect yourself? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I pray. I pray too. You read the scriptures. I read the scriptures too. You go to church. I go to church too. I bet we could boom, 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 and just check the list, check the list, check the list. Then why is the devil still creeping into families? Where's he getting in? Because I know there's other good people in this room that are really good people, but you know he's sneaking in and throwing dirt bombs in your head, junk thoughts in your head. And it's like, how did he do that? Wait, hold on. How did he get in there and say that thing? You guys, I got some things to share with you tonight, because when that day happened, I went on to a full-on study this out, figure out where he is, where I am at, and how to catch him in those nicks and crannies where he sneaks in. Because I know right now, you probably wish he was not in your life as much as he is. Is that okay to assume that? Is that true? Yes. I would have to guess he's in your children's lives in places you wish he wasn't. Is that true? Yes. Amen? Did you say amen? No, that's on Saturday when we do that whole thing. So today, I'm going to share with you, as I represent the Duncan family, as though, let's say you came over for dinner. Let's say you came over for dinner and you came over and we're all sitting on the couch and just hanging out after dinner, and you happen to have asked the question, hey, Kirk and Kim, is there anything that you guys have learned that you wish you could tell people, but you don't really have a way of really saying it to people? You guys would find Kim and I having this discussion tonight with you personally. Because of all the things we understand about life is we must protect our soul in a very, very big way. And let me show you why it's important to protect our soul. I think you have a worksheet, or those of you who are guests here tonight, they handed to you a worksheet when you walked in. And those of you who are with the Master Influence program, I forgot what page it's on. 73. Flip pages and go back to page 73 and go back to a diagram I have for you. And I want to walk you through this diagram. And so we can fill in some blanks here, some backing to this. Because I know for me to live out my potential and to do the things that I know I'm here to accomplish, like on my own personal mission, it means being able to detect the enemy. You know, if you read scriptures, you'll notice whenever there was a dangerous group of people, the good people always kept an eye on the dangerous people. You know, and when the dangerous people were going to come over and attack their city, whatever, they wanted to make sure they had people watching that, and so that they knew when to protect themselves and when to leave the city if they needed to leave. And so for me, as I read the scriptures and I read this, it's like, wow, it's almost like modern day scripture is like a battle training manual. You know, it's like protect the city. This is when you need to run. This is how you fortify. This is what you do. This is how you organize the people. And I look at that and it's like, I think you get this too, that it's like, wow, maybe we ought to be in this way of how are we doing this? Because I know many of you are fortifying your homes with the internet and how things are coming in on your cell phones into the home. But I'm going to suggest to you something else to fortify is literally your mind. Literally what's happening here in your mind and your emotions. The devil has two ways that he gets us. Through our mind and through our emotions. Two different directions. That's a note to write down. Where is the devil trying to get into my mind, and where is the devil trying to get into my emotions? Because, man, if he can stir you up, well, you read the scriptures, you read the good book, and you'll see that the devil stirred the hearts of men into anger. Well, maybe we need to take the stirring stick away from the devil so he can't stick it in there and stir. It's like, man, let's take that out. because he stirs the people up, and then they get all wound up and they hurt each other. So for us to be able to notice his tactics helps protect us and our family, and helps us protect our own children, which keeps our hearts open. You see, when we don't know how to protect ourselves, we just defend ourselves. You can set up modes of protection so we can keep our hearts open, to stay connected to the Spirit and inspiration and intuition. But if we don't know how to protect, how he's getting us in our mind and our emotions, then we block everything. And then we don't realize we're blocking inspiration and ideas and what to do next to help our family. So on your paper there, tell me if you got it. You guys got this? Tell me you got it. Okay, awesome. The top part up here we label as heaven. Label as heaven. Down here, label this as earth. We got heaven and earth. Then right here, we have the flesh. And right here, we have the spirit. And right here in the middle, we're going to split this circle into two different parts. This part right here on the flesh side, we're going to write brain. And on the top part, we're going to write mind. So we got earth, flesh, brain. Heaven, we have spirit, mind, and then the brain. So from heaven, we have our soul or our spirit, which is this energy of who we are, our existence, yes? And in here from the earth, we know from Genesis came our flesh, and the brain is part of the flesh. But right here in the middle, right here in the middle is the devil's target. That's the target. Now, one of the reasons why I can tell you that this is the target is because if he can get between our mind, which is our intelligence, and our brain that has functions. The brain has particular functions, how it works. But then our mind is the intelligence inside the brain. So our mind is intelligence, the brain is the function. So intelligence and function. Where those two come together is the target of the devil. If he can get in between those two, literally like he is wanting to put a wedge in between our function and our intelligence. If he can put a wedge right here in between these two, he can begin to split what we know and how we take action and start to split that apart, which is called doubt. Doubt comes from not knowing something and not knowing how to do it. Not knowing and not knowing how to do it. So the devil is targeting us by sliding in his target of doubt to separate what we know and how to do things. He's wanting to pull those two apart. Because if he can get us to doubt us, then he causes us to doubt life. And then we doubt our existence. And then we doubt our purpose. We doubt our mission. And then we doubt why we should even be alive. Because if the wedge continued, and he targeted this, and he were able to split our intelligence and our function, split those apart, the next two things that split is our spirit and our flesh to pull us apart. The devil's target is to separate our spirit from our flesh, just like what he was trying to do to me. He got in my mind and created doubt. And now I started to not know, and then I didn't know what to do, and then he would pose more things. Oh, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know how to take action. And he kept splitting those further and further apart until I slipped into depression. And then that depression led to, well, why am I even here? And then he began to work on, he tried super hard to get me to split my body and my spirit apart by taking my life, by me choosing to take my life. So his ultimate goal is to split us up. His ultimate goal is to split us in part, have a come apart, complete separation. But before he works on me, he worked on my relationship between me and my boss. He started having me see my boss is an idiot. He's a jerk. He doesn't understand me. And then he tried to put a wedge between me and my boss. Then he tried to put a wedge between me and Kim and me and the kids. Oh yeah, she doesn't understand you. She doesn't know what's going on, and she doesn't care. So before he even gets to doubting me, he's got to first get me to separate myself from other people. So for you to recognize one of the devil's tactics is to get you to start to point out that other people are jerks and idiots and weirdos and, oh my gosh, look at them, what are they doing? And that is the beginning of the devil working on you. Is when he gets you to turn and to start to push somebody away. Now, if a person's running at you with a knife, you want to push that person away. Okay, this is good people in your life. Good people in your life. So when you're wondering, where's the devil in the details of my life, Kirk? I don't think he's here. Okay, well, who are the people in your life that you keep talking about? And you keep having stories about, and you can't understand them, and they're just so that way. And those could be family members, in-laws, outlaws. I mean, they could be anybody around you. It could be your own kids. It could be your own spouse. But you'll know the devil's in the details when you find yourself wanting to create space between somebody you used to care about and you used to have a good relationship, and now there's beginning to have distance between you and that person. The devil works on splitting us between us and other people. And once he gets us split off from other people, then he starts to work on us. He comes after us with the doubt now of ourselves. So for you to check in with that and go, okay, and for you to go home tonight and go, okay, in this family, we're going to pull this family together. We're going to start doing things in this family because we're going to have more together experiences so we don't have these separation experiences. So do this for me. Wrap your arm around the person next to you. Yeah. Pull them in just a little bit. Don't break their arm or pull their shoulder out of the socket. Pull them in and just let that person know, hey, there's no room for the devil between us. No. There's no room. No, don't let go yet. Hold on. You got him. I know deodorant's not quite functioning as well as it did earlier. Just hang on. Just hang on. This is super important. You hugging somebody back there, sir? You got somebody. Oh, okay. All right, you got that person. Okay, good. Okay, you got him. Now, you got your arm around this person, which is for some of you, it's super creepy. You know, for some of you, it's like, dude, I didn't even know you. I'm just hugging you. But some of you are couples, and you're like, oh, this is my sweetie. But some of you are like, complete stranger. And so you're hugging like this. It's okay. Pull them in. Just a little bit. No kissing. You're just holding. You're just holding them. Okay, and in your head right now, really, that statement I just said was not just for pretend. There's no room for the devil to get between us. A little bit louder. I think I heard 3 people yet to still say it, or we got to do it one more time. Everybody say it. There's no room for the devil to get between us. Okay, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Checking in with yourself. In the last 7 days, you have probably, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a good majority of people in the room who have talked about somebody in your life. And now you've talked to another person about this person, and you've talked to this other person going, oh, can you believe, what are they doing? Man, they drive me crazy. What are we going to do about this person? They're just like, and when you're having this kind of conversation about a person like that, whoa! Who's in the details? Who's in the details? Now, if you keep doing this, you're inviting them in to just drive that wedge between you and that person. And after he gets you split off from that person, he's going to work on the next person. He's after you. Okay, so this is where you got to like throw the flag. Like, oh man, I think I just engaged with the devil conversation here. I got to patch this up. Sorry, I can't talk to you about them. I got to go spend my time mending this relationship. Instead of spending your time talking to other people about why this person's so difficult, you guys see it for what it is. The devil's targeting you. You have a relationship with that person. And you invest the time, not the gossip. Not the over here trying to, whatever. No more talking about people to other people just to vent, just to do stuff. Stop wasting that time and invest that time over here to mend this relationship, and you work at it. For the fact that that person is on this side, and there's a wedge going between them and you, and if you separate from this, like, oh, whatever, and you blow that person off, like, whatever, maybe the devil's after that one. Maybe the devil's after them. If we don't mend that relationship, he just totally cut that person off. Now he can go after them all by themselves. Guys, I don't know if you watch stats about us as a human race, but the stats of people who are taking their lives are going up. I don't know if you look at the stats, but the age group that has the most people checking out early is the age of 30 to 35-year-old males. More than teenagers. 30 to 35-year-old males, 30 to 35 years old. What is that person doing, a 30 to 35-year-old male? Oh, wait a second. They have a family that they're trying to take care of, and they can't make ends meet. It's where I was, 30 to 35. These good family guys who just can't take care of the family, and they're getting beat up inside their mind, and they don't know what's going on, and they're having difficulty with children, their spouse, and they're pulling themselves off by themselves, and then boom, the devil goes after their mind with doubt and slides in there. So if you know somebody between the ages of 25 to 35, male, man, they need a hug. Let them know, dude, hang on. Hang in there, man. You got to clear some thoughts. You got some stuff going on inside your head. And you may need to kind of wake them up a little bit going, I know what's going on inside your head. And you know right now somebody that's close to you that you could pick out that has talking going on in their head that's creating doubt in their life. You know this. And us, as gladiators, I know who shows up to Heart of Gold. Guess who shows up to Heart of Gold? Gladiators. Who shows up to Heart of Gold? Gladiators. Yeah, I know who shows up. It's the gladiators in the room. And you are the people who literally are going to be the people to cause interrupts in other people's lives. You're not the ones with blocked hearts. You're the ones who are going, you know what? We got to do something here. And for you to be able to see these people and go, oh, wow, that person right there, oh, we got to go talk to that person. Something's happening with that person. See, the devil's in the details, and some people don't like having this conversation because it's real. It's real. And some people don't want to talk about it because they think, oh, we shouldn't talk about this. We should just go on pretending like it's not happening. And I'll tell you right now, I've lost way too many friends for checking out early. Is there anybody else in the room who has lost family and friends who have checked out early? You guys look around the room. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. And for us to recognize, whenever we have biffs happen between us and another person, we get it. It's not just between us and that person. The devil's real, and he's trying to cause a separation here. He's trying to get in between us. Now, on the other side of the coin, you want to know what else is real? Which I believe, and I hope you believe too, is guardian angels. Oh, my goodness. Oh, who thinks they might have a guardian angel? Anybody might have? Okay, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I know my grandfather who just passed away, I know he gets permission to come help me. I'll be doing some things and all of a sudden be like, oh my gosh, my grandfather's here. Like, I can just tell. And my grandma, who passed away a couple years ago, I know she shows up. Now, I want you to know, too, I understand that heaven has an order to it. And all permission comes from God. God runs everything. I don't address guardian angels by themselves without consulting with God, and I don't ever teach people that or encourage that. It's like there's a system in heaven, and it's all in structure, and it's all in order with authority, and they all have different jobs and responsibilities. And I know that it's followed by leadership in heaven. So I always consult with God when it comes to guardian angels. But if you read the good book and read Scripture and read modern Scripture, oh my goodness, there is guardian angels showing up all over the place, delivering messages of hope, delivering instruction, and also delivering reprimands to some people. But yeah, all of you who raised your hand about guardian angels, it's pretty cool, huh? Really, really cool. I want to share just a little secret here on my side. When I read the Scriptures, one of the times when I'm reading the Scriptures, if I'm ever reading the Scriptures about somebody that I really feel close to, I flip to the very back page in my Scriptures and I write their name down. If there's anybody in the Scriptures that I feel like I'm really close with, like, oh my goodness, if I lived back then, I'd hang out with them. It'd be totally awesome to be around them. I flip to my back page and I make a little list on my back page of names of people in the Scriptures. Because if I ever have days where I'm feeling beat up and tired and, man, I feel like I need help protecting the home and protecting what's going on, I'll flip to my back page of my Scriptures and I'll say a quick prayer and ask God and ask Heavenly Father if I could have some of those people come be my guardian angels and help me. In the Duncan home, we ask for help a lot. We don't do it by ourselves. We ask for help a lot. One time we were doing taxes at home, and oh my gosh, back then it was so painful. I was in charge of taping all the receipts on paper, and I don't know, I probably 4 days taping receipts on paper, and that's all I was qualified for in the tax process, was just taping receipts on paper. And Kim's over there working the computer and inputting information, and I'm taping receipts, and we hit this one part in our taxes that was really, really difficult, and we couldn't figure it out. And Kim turns to me, and she's like, Kirk, I don't know how to do this. I said, I wonder what we should do. And Kim came up with a brilliant idea. She goes, hey, let's pray. What are you going to pray for? And she goes, I think there's tax people that make it to heaven. I think tax people make it to heaven. I said, why do you say that? And she goes, well, I wonder if there's any guardian angels that Heavenly Father would let us have help us in the office where we're stuck. Because this is like on some late night, like 11 o'clock at night, where we can't call somebody. And she goes, let's pray. And I was like, all right, you say it. So we kneel down, because we always believe in kneeling when we say prayers like this, and we kneel down, and Kim goes to say the prayer, and it's so precious. Dear Heavenly Father, and she starts to say the prayer, and she's expressing gratitude for everything, and we're grateful that we have taxes to do, and everything. And then she kind of paused for a moment, and she goes, Heavenly Father, do you have any tax people in heaven? We believe that they make it there, and could you, if we could have a couple of them come to the house, we really need some help, because we don't know what we're doing. And could you send a couple of them? Would that be okay? If it's okay, thank you. If it's not, it's okay. We'll call somebody tomorrow. Amen. And she finishes the prayer up, and then amen. And so she looks at me, and she goes, I felt so silly. And I go, no, that was a good prayer. And she goes, I've never done a tax guardian angel prayer before. Like, I don't think they have a manual on this about how to say this, but that was good. We asked permission. That's the most important thing. We asked permission. Well, she turns back to the computer and starts typing some stuff, and I go back to my big responsibility. And I start taping receipts on this, and as I'm taping the next couple pages of receipts, I hear this noise. Like, what? You okay, Kim? And I look over there, and she's got tears coming out of her eyes. I'm like, oh no, we have bad numbers on the tax stuff. I said, honey, is it bad stuff on the tax stuff? And she turns to me and she goes, no, I think he's Irish. Wait, what channel are you on? She goes, the guardian angel that's here. We got one? They showed up? She goes, yeah, I hear like this Irish accent and I smell like, what's an Irish smell? What? Beer? No! That is not the right smell. You don't have an Irish guardian angel show up smelling like beer. Okay, okay, let's restart that whole process. Does it smell like Irish Spring soap, right? Right? I don't know. Okay, so let's forget the beer thing and we'll move on. Okay. So she's like, it's just like I can almost smell him and I can hear his accent. And I'm sitting there like, I got nothing. She goes, don't you sense it? Sure. No, but you roll with it. You go with it. I'm like, how do you know he's here? And she goes, oh my goodness. I was working on this one part and I just posed a question and said, God, I don't know how to do this. And this voice, I don't even know how to speak Irish, but this voice goes, oh, well, you just blah, 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 and you do this. And she did it and everything worked. And she goes, Kirk, they're here. And we just like, all the hair stands up on the back of her neck like, where are they? You know, we're like looking for them. It's like, okay, quit trying to look. Just know that they're here. The next couple hours was incredible. We cried through most of it as we asked questions, and Kim would get taught inside her mind. And I quit taping and I got involved and I'd ask questions and I got taught inside my mind. And we worked through some tough stuff that we have. And later, a couple hours later, we're just sitting there just like, oh my goodness, this is real. This is real. As much as the devil is real, guardian angels are real. And here we're having this experience with taxes. I mean, I don't know how many people pray and ask for Irish tax guys to show up. But I know in the Duncan home, years ago when that happened, man, we started asking for other things. All kinds of guardian angels. Kim and I started getting into asking permission to have guardian angels go with our son to school. Another one to go with our other son. Another one to go with our other son. And one day I went to go pick up Caden from his friend's house, and that's one of my boys, and we're driving home, and as we're driving home, I hear this voice that says, I'd like to report how your son did at school today. I went, oh really, what happened? We're driving home, and I get this download of what happened from the guardian angel who I sent with Caden. So we're driving home, and I said, just out of nowhere, it's totally quiet in the car. I'm driving home, and out of nowhere, I just say, so what happened in math class today at 1 o'clock? And he whoops his head around. Dad, who told you that? And I went, what? And he goes, Dad, nothing happened. And the voice goes, say this. So then I said that details, and Caden looks at me and he goes, you do listen to guardian angels. There's no way you would know that happened. And I remember him folding his arms going, this is so not fair. This is so not fair. I cannot do anything without them telling you what's going on with me. I said, confess. Let's just get her straight. Okay, what happened? He's like, all right, I'll tell you. And then when he tells me what happened, I said, well, we can work this out, Caden. You're totally fine. And he's like, oh my gosh, Dad, who told you that? And I go, I told you, Caden, I assigned guardian angels, and they watch you. And he goes, serious? Can I hire guardian angels to block your guardian angels? He goes, is this going to be the battle of who pays the most tithing, or what is this going to be? And I said, it always has to be for good, Caden, and everybody has to, it's all for the good. And they will never tell me stuff that is for your own experience, but it's only as your father. And I said, it's to help, Caden. It's not to control you or spy on you. I said, it's just to help. And he's like, wow. And so we drive a little bit further, and we're almost home. And I remember Caden looking over at me, and he goes, so can you teach me this guardian angel thing? And I said, what's your purpose? And he goes, never mind. He's out. He's totally out. So I don't know about you, but I know I need help. As a dad, as a business owner, and as a man, as a child of God, I need help. And I read the scriptures, and there's all kinds of help going on. And I know I keep listening to all these spiritual leaders out there, and they're saying we need to ask for help. And I know many times we pray, and I know I pray, and I used to pray in the way of just going, please help me. But now my prayers go like this. I ask for people that I read about in the scriptures, always asking permission. And at nighttime, I ask for guardian angels to surround our home. I remember the first time I did that, and I was praying, I said, Heavenly Father, I think we need some protection around our home. Could I have about 10 guardian angels to surround the home? And I heard the voice of the Spirit say, are you sure you only want 10? I said, well, can I have 11? And then the Spirit goes, we got a lot of people up here looking for something to do. What do you need? And I said, how about 100? And I heard the Spirit go, come on. You can think bigger, Kirk. Come on. I was like, well, if there's 100 and they're shoulder to shoulder, they kind of fit around the house. And the Spirit goes, oh, come on. Pack it. Surround your house. 1,000? And in my mind, I saw 1,000 people surround the house. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And the Spirit goes, ask for 10. I said, I already did in the beginning. He goes, no, 10,000. Like, what am I going to do with 10,000? He goes, just pack the outside of your home with his army of 10,000. I was like, oh, are you serious? And then before I could even say it, the Spirit goes, okay, let's finally get to the point where I'm trying to take you. Ask for 100,000. 100,000? What do I do with 100,000? He goes, you sleep better at night. Really? Heavenly Father, could I have 100,000 guardian angels to surround my house? And then the next question was, what do you want them to wear in armor? What kind of weapons do you want them to have? And I talked about their shields and their armor and everything. And in my mind, I saw my house with 100,000 guardian angels surrounding my house, and I just went, wow. And I felt bad for my neighbors. I'm like, hey, can you guys expand the circle a little bit and surround like probably about the 10, 20 homes around me? And it just expanded to this whole new level, and I kept asking, is this okay? Can you do this? Is this legal? Do I qualify to ask for this? And I kept getting taught, you don't ask for enough help. There are so many of us up here who want to serve you and protect you and surround you. We're here to serve you. My mind just expanded in a huge way, having 100,000 guardian angels around the house. Man, I imagine if the satellites in the atmosphere were driving by and they looked down where I was living, they just see this huge ball of light setting in Utah. And it would show up on the radar because there were so many guardian angels. We began to teach our kids this and be able to teach our kids to talk this way. I remember one time Cody was saying the family prayer, and we're all kneeling and holding hands, and it's his turn to say the prayer, and sometimes he gets a little passionate when he's praying. And he's holding the hands, and he goes, Dear God, can we please have some guardian angels? And we're all like, okay, here goes Cody's guardian angel speech. Here we go. He goes, tonight, and this is when he was a little kid. He goes, tonight, can they have like really big shields and like 4 grenades on their belts? And like some of them, can they have a lightsaber? And I'm thinking, lightsaber? I peek at Kim, and Kim looks at me, and we're like, okay. We'll see what God does with the lightsaber thing. And he has lightsaber, machine guns, and grenades, and shields, and swords. I mean, he's decked them out big time. But then it got wild because he goes, could we have 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes patrolling the perimeter? And it's like, okay, Cody, simmer down here. But he's just praying like crazy. And then he says amen, and sometimes we'd giggle about things, but it was really cool. Really cool to raise our kids believing that they can ask. Because I know heaven, and heaven will help teach us if we're off. But at least we need to ask, right? When I went to go tuck Cody in that night, I tuck him in, and he's just laying there with his big eyes and his big smiles. And I said, you okay? And he's like, Dad, I think they're out there. I go, you think so? And he goes, I know they are. I can see them in my mind. They're surrounding the house. And he goes, Dad, the biggest one, the biggest guardian angel's standing on our front porch. He's out there, Dad. Okay, good night. I get done tucking him in. I'm walking upstairs, and I walk by the hall where the front door is. I had to go peek. I went out there, and I opened up the door, and I looked around, and of course, I couldn't see him standing there. But I stepped out there, and I stood right there on the front porch, and I just went there in my mind. And I went like this. You okay? And in my mind, I imagined this big old guardian angel looking down at me. He goes, got you covered. Then the hair stood up on the back of my neck. Good night. And maybe I made it up. Maybe I made it up. But I would rather train my mind in believing than to doubt and allow the devil in. Maybe I made it up, but I would rather, I'm going to say this again, I'd rather train my mind into believing than to step back and go, oh, that doesn't work, and then open up doubt, and the devil, boom, is in there with his wedge. Because if I doubt the possibility of 100,000 guardian angels, or Cody praying for guardian angels, or Irish tax guy showing up to our house, if I were to doubt that, what am I doing? Oh, I'm letting the devil, boom, get right in there. It's like we play this fine line between doubt and belief. And it's like, what side of the line are you playing on? Are you playing on the side of belief and practicing believing, hoping that heaven will edit your ideas and guide you to the real truth? Or do we sit back with doubt and not even try? I have a friend right now who thinks I'm weird. And they're like, you can't do that. You can't just imagine guardian angels. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, I'm not going to do anything until I know for sure. I'm like, man, I think it's up to us to present it to God. And then he teaches us. So I'm going to keep presenting it to God to go, is this how guardian angels work? Is this how we do this? Can we pray for tax guys to help us? And if we're not supposed to, I hope he says, no, we can't do that up here. But so far, he's like, yeah, we're here to help you guys. Can I send a guardian angel with my son to school? Yeah. How many do you want? 5. Okay, woo. Surround him with 5. Can I send guardian angels to watch over Kim? Yeah. Hey, my mom and dad, they need some help. Is there any way? Yeah, we got you covered, Kirk. Man, I want to train my mind to believe and then get educated by heaven to edit instead of live a life of doubt. I don't know, that doubt thing, man, that can creep up on us and the devil can get us. Years ago, my boys and I was going to take them out and go hunting up in the mountains. And this is when they were little kids, and I'd borrowed my father-in-law's Bronco, and we went driving way back up in the mountains and way up on this ridge, and it's early in the morning, so the ground's all frozen, and so we went all the way down this canyon thinking we could go out to the main road and head back home. Well, as the day went on, we're going down this canyon, and the ground started to thaw out and get slippery. And we got down to the bottom thinking we could just cut across this creek and get on the highway and go home. but there was this huge fence, and we couldn't get over to the highway. And so I had to turn around, and now we had to go back up this canyon with all this slippery mud. Well, as soon as we turned around and I tried to gas it, the wheels spun. Like we were instantly stuck. And I got me and Cameron and Cody in the car, and they're sitting there in car seats. They're big toddler seats kind of thing, but they're sitting here all strapped in, and I'm gunning it, and we're spinning wheels, and we're throwing mud everywhere, and we just dig 4 holes right in the ground with all 4 tires, and we're stuck, almost high-centered. So I'm way up in the mountains, no cell phone, nobody knows where we're at, and we're stuck. And I know we could cross the fence and go through the river and get up to the highway and get a ride home, but now the vehicle's stuck. But that was still pretty far away. So we're sitting there, and mud was flying everywhere, and Cameron looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Dad, you're stuck." "Yeah, I'm stuck." And he goes, "What are you going to do?" I said, "We're really stuck." And he does this. "Dad, we need to pray." And before I could do anything, he goes, "Dear God, Dad's stuck. Please send guardian angels to help us get unstuck. Amen." And he's sitting over here, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Dad, it's all taken care of. We got guardian angels coming." And I was like, "Cameron," I said, "we're way up in the mountains. There's no roads, and we haven't seen anybody all day." And I said, "Cameron, I appreciate you praying, but there's nobody up here." And he said, "Dad, I prayed, and there's guardian angels coming." "Cameron, okay, let's talk about this. There are times when it works, and then there's times that, and then just then, over a ridge, I hear the sound of 4-wheelers. And over the hill that's next to us come these guys on 4-wheelers. And as they came over the hills, Cameron points to them, "Dad, angels have 4-wheelers!" And he started saying, "I had no idea angels had 4-wheelers. They have 4-wheelers in heaven? I got to get to heaven. Man, they got 4-wheelers up there. This is awesome. Angels have 4-wheelers." And I'm like, "Cameron, Cameron, I don't know." These people started driving towards us. There's a couple guys on 4-wheelers. There's no roads, no trails. They're just going cross-country over the hill. And I'm going, not very many people do this. And why would they be doing this here? And as they started to pull up to us, you know that moment when you look at them and they smile at you, and there's this little twinkle in their eye, and this little star sparkle happens on their teeth? The guy pulls up right next to our vehicle. And my window's down. He pulls up next to me and he goes, "Are you stuck?" I looked at Cameron, and Cameron goes, "Dad, tell him we're stuck." "Yes, we're stuck." And he goes, "We'd like to help you get unstuck." That's all he said. I was like, that was the creepiest conversation I've ever had in my life. They get off their 4-wheelers, they stick sticks in the holes where the tire are, and the guy stands back and he goes, "Hit it." I hit it. We popped right up out of the holes, and we start to go, and the guy goes, "Keep on going. Bye-bye now." And we start to drive away. And I'm looking at Cameron going, "How'd that just happen? That was like crazy." And he goes, "Dad, they were angels. They knew we were stuck." And I said, "Well, Cameron, look back there and wave to him." He turns around and he goes, "Dad, they're already gone. Back to heaven." I looked at my rearview mirror. They were gone. We drive up the hill, and I'm trying to process this. Trying to go, okay, they had time, but I didn't hear them start their 4-wheelers, but we were spinning our tires. Where did they go? Where could they have went to? And the whole way home, that's all Cameron could say. Angels drive 4-wheelers. So wrap your arm around the person next to you one more time and let them know there's angels on 4-wheelers that want to help you get unstuck too. Okay, let them go. Let them go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I need 4 volunteers. 4 volunteers. 4 volunteers. You need 2 guys, 2 girls. I'll pick them out. So I'm looking for some people that will be tough, but you won't hurt me. Okay? Tough, but you won't hurt me. Don't hurt me on this. Okay, I'll go with you. My crazy friend over there, guy right there in the green shirt, guy in the black shirt back there with two hands waving back and forth. So I got one lady, need another lady. Let's go second right there from the end. Guy in the blue shirt, you're right next to him. Yes, the one that's doing this. Come on up here. Come this way. Come up this way. We give a round of applause to my 4 volunteers. Go get the ropes. Okay, I want to show you something here. That's another sneaky thing that the devil does that I want you guys to know about. Okay, let's have you stand here. You are going to stand here. Yep, you there and you there. Now, you 4 are going to work for the devil just for a moment. All right? It's okay. You know what to do. No, you got this naturally. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. All right, so you each are going to be handed a rope. Come on up here, Adam. I hand each one of them a rope. This rope right here is going to represent a flaxen cord. Do you guys know what a flaxen cord is? Raise your hand so I know. How many of you know what a flaxen cord is? Okay, in the good book, in scriptures, it talks about the devil using a flaxen cord, a soft rope that is not noticed or detected when put around the animal or put around the person. Now, the devil uses chains to tie us down and weigh us down. He uses negative emotions to weigh our hearts. He uses negative comments to distort our thinking. But another technique that he has is called flaxen cords. And flaxen cords, I have found to be real and true. They really are something he uses on us. Now, when you look through the scriptures and you're reading through the scriptures, look for those places where it brings up the devil and what he's doing to people. And you'll notice that it talks about him tying people up or binding them or tying them down where they can't do things. So as I study and I'm trying to figure out all the different ways that the devil's in the details, because I want to protect my family, not defend my heart, but protect my family, I want to be aware of how he uses flaxen cords. Now, what I'm about ready to demonstrate for you here, I hope you get. I really hope this makes sense for you, because it was quite the mind-expanding, mind-opening experience when this came to light for me. So I'm going to walk you through this scenario, and my 4 volunteers are going to do their best to play their parts in this example that we're going to do here. Now, the 4 of you, what I need you to do is follow the instructions that I'm going to give you and just play along with the part that I'm going to show you. Go ahead and undo the rope. Undo the rope. Now, who in here has read the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis? Yes? Raise your hand, make a loud noise. Okay. If you've not had the chance to read the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, I would read that book. But don't read it before you go to sleep at night. You want to read it during the middle of the day, and so you can read it. But C.S. Lewis, what he does in the Screw Tape Letters is he uncovers a conversation that happens in the tempter's world and the devil's, little army, a big army of what they're doing to shut us down. And there's is they call it a general? There's a general that's in this army that's teaching this new, devil or apprentice on how to ruin this guy's life. And so the Screw Tape Letters are between the general in devil's army and this new person that he's training, and they're writing back and forth what to do to this guy to ruin his life. And so you read the dialogue that happens about how sneaky they are and what they're trying to do to not be detected. Because we learned from C.S. Lewis that when somebody in the devil's army gets detected and caught, they actually pay a fine. Not like money, but they pay a price for getting caught. And it's super important that they don't get caught or they get in trouble. And then they have to pay the penalty and go through all the things they got to go through. So they have like their own in trouble zone of what happens on that side. And so they literally get trained to be sneaky so we don't detect them. Now for you, as my close friends, something we got to get good at is calling out the devil in the details. Inside your family, I would have to guess, if I hung out with your family, in your family, you're not calling it out. You know, if all of a sudden two of you are arguing, I don't think somebody in the family is going, hey, you two should stop arguing. I think the devil's here stirring up your hearts. I don't think that language happens these days. It's kind of going away. And because we quit calling it out, we stop seeing it. And if we stop seeing it, then we don't think he's anywhere around us, because his whole game is to not be seen. And for us to think we're only the ones causing the problems. But now if somebody broke into your house, and your neighbor watched it happen, don't you wish your neighbor would have told you that somebody's breaking into your house? Yes? Yes. If somebody steals something from your house or breaks into your house, or is somebody's following your child home from school that looks super creepy, don't you wish your neighbors would say something? Yes, because we can see the person and what's going on. So for us to have a heart of gold, to be open, is meaning we are watching and calling it out. Because when we don't call it out, we're assisting the secrecy of the devil's sneakiness. So I'm going to show you something here about how to call something out so you can put a stop to one of the devil's techniques. Each one of these people, or these people that are working on the devil's side right now, has a flaxen cord. It has a loop on it. And each one of these, you got your loop ready? Get it ready. You got your loop ready? Right. There you go, right there. Hold that, because you're going to be putting that over my arm.
Okay.
Perfect. And you got that one? Yep. Okay, you can make that loop quite a bit smaller, just like that. Okay, got your loops? Okay, so I'm going to walk them through it as I do this. Now, one of the activities that we do that brings the devil and his little workers closer to us is when we say destructive or damaging or negative comments. When we say things like, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I can't do anything right. When we say negative comments, we actually invite them to get closer to us. Now, it's very common for us as people to say negative comments to ourselves. But I hope after this activity, you stop saying negative comments to yourself. Let me show you what happens. Okay, so I'm a common person who is going to pick a goal. I'm going to pick a goal, and I want to achieve this particular goal. Now, you and I both know that when we pick a goal and we start moving towards our goal, we can be hard on ourselves. And as we're being hard on ourselves, we can say mean things to ourselves. Like one of the comments I will catch myself saying is, I can't do anything right. Now, could be a true comment, but it's also a really painful thing to say to myself. So when I say the words, I can't do anything right, I'm actually unconsciously, I'm inviting this to happen, what you're about ready to see. Okay, now don't pull too tight or I'll know you're there. So now let out some rope. Yeah, there you go. Now back up just a little bit. So note that when we say negative comments to ourselves, it is as literal as a flaxen cord being put over our hands. But they keep the rope loose, so we can't detect it. And it seems like we can say all the negative comments in the world Because it doesn't do anything to the normal eyes. We think we can say negative comments and it will do nothing to us spiritually. So another comment that I will catch myself saying is, man, that was stupid what you did, Kirk. And to the normal person, the normal eyes, it doesn't seem like anything happened. But I'm showing you in a spiritual level what happens. And the adversary minions, what they do is they let the ropes stay loose. So you don't know that they got you. Because we invited them in with our negative comments. What's another negative comment? Tell me another one. I can't. Okay, I'm a failure. Oh my goodness, I'm just a failure at everything I do. So I say this next comment. One of you put a rope on my wrist. Another rope. Again, most people would not even think saying negative comments does anything. And this is only 4 different comments. You see, because when I say negative comments, it takes me down. It literally begins to tie me down or bind me because I'm engaging in this hurtful language. Now, the people around you, they engage with it all the time. They say negative stuff about other people or to themselves, and then they get their own flaxen cords on their wrist. Now, you may not detect your flaxen cords for a long time until you decide to go for a goal. Because see, right now, I'm kind of staying in the same place. Here's everyday life. I'm staying in the same place. But now I decided I'm going to pick a goal, and I'm going to go for this goal. So now, as I start to head forward towards this goal, I have this strange feeling I'm being held back. Have you ever heard someone say, "God, I'm really trying to move forward, but I feel like I'm being held back by something"? Or here's another way that they say it. "I feel so tied down, I feel like I can't get much done." Held back, tied down. Or if I tried to go forward right now, it would feel like I'm spinning my wheels, like I can't get going. Or here's another one. I just can't feel very much motivation to move forward. Like there's something that makes me feel like I'm stuck. Okay, raise your hand if you've said any of those comments, my friends. Yeah, hold your hands up because I want you to see. Look around the room. Look around the room. See all those hands? Almost all of us. Now remember, I'm only uncovering the spiritual side. This is something I'm not going to teach at Master of Influence during the day. You're getting it right here. That when we say these negative comments, it puts these flaxen cords on us. And right now I've only got 4. But what if I said 10 negative comments to myself? What if I said 20? What if I said 100? I'd have all these flaxen cords on me. And then when somebody says, "You should pick a goal and go for a goal," I get this feeling. And every day I try to go for my goal each day, I feel like there's something wrong with me. Like I can't get going. And you know what's crazy? Is I hear people blame God that they can't move forward. I've had people I've mentored who they'll say, I picked this goal, and Kirk, for some reason, when I go for this goal, I feel like someone's stopping me, and I think it's God stopping me. I'm like, no! Have you ever considered it was the devil? They go, why would the devil stop me from getting a goal? I said, ask the other question. Why would God stop you from creating something? I think the devil has more into stopping you from creating something than God does. And I watch people blame God for this feeling. And it's like, you are not even noticing the devil in the details. And people don't know about flaxen cords. They don't know that these negative comments they've been saying has given the devil ropes on your wrists. They don't even know it. But you guys now know it. Tell me if you're getting this. You getting this? Tell me you got it, Kirk. So you go for this goal and you have this feeling. The next time you decide to go for a goal on your vision board or something you want to achieve in your life, and you start to move forward and you feel this tied down feeling, I hope you have a new thought. Instead of going, maybe this is a sign I shouldn't go for my goal, maybe it's an indicator you've been saying negative comments to yourself and you got flaxen cords. Now, this is not language I go to church with and say, hey, how many flaxen cords do you have? I don't text my buddies and go, hey, how many flaxen cords do you have? Because people don't get this. And I hope you're holding it in context of what we're talking about here. But I think there's a good chance you have flaxen cords. How many do you think you might have? You think you got some? I think right now I'm showing you an image of something you felt before, where you literally feel like you can't do what you wanted to do. You feel like you can't get your hands on what you need to do next. Like every time you go to take a step forward, you get pulled back a couple steps backwards. And then you try to go up there again, and it just feels like, something's going on. So you got flaxen cords. What do you do with flaxen cords? Now, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Here's my suggestion. One idea is you can get to the end of your flaxen cord and drag hell with you to get your goal. But I tell you what happens is you work so hard and you feel like you're dragging so much with you. You get exhausted. And at the end of the day, you're trying to move forward and you're just run out of energy. And when you try to do it this way, you burn out going for a goal because it's like, I didn't realize goals were so much hard work. And you could yank on this all day long, but you're going to find at the end of the day, you're totally wiped out. It'll exhaust you to physically try to push forward. Because look, I only got 4 of these. Shit. But you know what's happening? Something else is happening. I'm recognizing I have flaxen cords. I can't move forward. I've hit the end of my rope. And I'm at the end of my rope, and it's like, wait a second. I'm feeling something tied to me. And I know about this. This is called flaxen cords. You know what I need next, because I can't do this by myself, because I'll burn out and just be exhausted. I know what I need next. Where's my list of guardian angels? Oh, I want this guardian angel and this one. And hey, can I have more guardian angels? I got flaxen cords. So on my list, I got these guardian angels they call upon. And I start yelling out, can I have my guardian angels show up? I think I got some flaxen cords I got to cut. I think I need some help on the other side because I can't win my battle by myself. But I know my guardian angels are going to show up and take care of some flaxen cord cleansing process. See, another reason why you want to have guardian angels is because they know what's going on over there. No more flaxen cords, my friends. How many flaxen cords? None. How many? None. I can't hear you. None. What? Okay, show the person next to you. No more flaxen cords. Show the person behind you. No more flaxen cords. So guardian angels, a whole new reason why I'd have guardian angels. I got my guardian angels that watch over my kids. I got guardian angels that help with their taxes, help me get unstuck when I'm in the mountains. But I got myself a list of guardian angels when it's time to clear off my flaxen cords. So in a spiritual level, when you decide to go for a goal, and all those different statements I was saying that you've noticed you said before, if you start to have those feelings and those sensations, stop fighting the battle by yourself. You bring yourself some guardian angels. I mean, I literally feel like I got 2 guardian angels on both sides. Can I feel that right now? Yeah, they're standing right here and standing right here. And don't have them show up with a toothpick in their hand. You have them show up with armor and swords, ready to protect you. There was one night I was at home and nobody else was home besides me and the dog. And when I say dog, we're talking a little poof ball about this big. He's not some kind of like defender of the home. He thinks he's like 10 feet tall, but he's about yay tall and just a big poof ball. And we're at home and very quiet house. I'm down in the other house that we used to live in. I was downstairs in my office, and I knew nobody was home. It was the night before a class. The night before a class. Really important class. I was doing a couple of final details on some information I was going to be doing training on the next day, and I could tell this class the next day was just going to rock people's worlds in a huge way. I could just tell it was going to be awesome. So I'm finishing some details here, and the dog's sitting next to me, and as I'm finishing these details, all the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. And Coco, my poof ball, started to growl. And he just started growling, just going, "Grrr." No doors opened. Nobody came in the house. And he started growling. My hairs on my neck stood up first, and then he started growling. And I looked over and I said, "Coco, what's going on?" And as I looked over, just to look to the side where he was, he stood up on all fours. And I'm sitting there going, do I turn around? What's going on? Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Man, I immediately scooted out of my chair, kneeled down, folded my arms. I just started saying a prayer. I went, "Dear Heavenly Father," and immediately, as soon as I said, "Dear Heavenly Father," this voice goes, "Ask for 10,000 armies, right? 10,000 people in an army right now to come to your house, right now, go, 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 go!" And I'm like, what do I say? 10,000 people and swords and shields and swords and shields and 10,000 people, 10,000 people. And this voice is like, "You need more, another 10,000, surround your house, do it now." And I'm just sitting there like, "Send them all, get them all here. Everybody, come from heaven now." I'm just like, they're in my house. And I sat there, Coco is barking. He's barking and just barking. And I'm just sitting there just praying. There's nothing else with my ears that I can hear, but my inside ears, I could hear swords hitting shields, and I could hear slashing, and I could hear things breaking. And this is like all inside with my soul, and I'm just sitting there praying and praying and praying. And this voice is saying, "You have to pray, you have to pray, you have to pray. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying." And I just hear all this stuff that's happening. And it went on for a couple minutes. I'm just sitting there and just praying over and over again. "Help them, all storage shields, people, 10,000, surround the house, help me, help me, help me." And I'm just freaking out, scared to death. In that moment, I'm just kneeling there. And then all of a sudden, everything went quiet. And that same voice that had told me what to pray for said, "Okay, we cleared the house. You can finish your class." Amen. I look over. Coco's back to sitting down, but he's staring at the door. I said, "Coco, you okay?" And he looks at me. And I'm like, I know. And he's just looking at me like, "Did you just see that? Did you just see what we just did?" And I'm like, "I know, come here." And he's just like, he's right up on my lap, just like hugging to me. And I'm like, "Okay, we did good. we did all right." We sat there, and after a while, I put him back down, and I finished off the rest of my class. I looked around the room, and I thought I would have saw, seriously, bloodstains on the wall, things broken. Because inside my head, a war happened in my office. And after I finished my class, I kneeled back down and I thanked my higher power that he taught me about guardian angels. And I thanked him that he'd put me through so many different experiences that I knew that the devil's real. Because that night, they were showing up to shut me down from teaching my class. Because I know who I am. And I know what my mission is to teach people about how to defend their minds. Now, the story I just told you doesn't happen to most people. Tell the person next to you, don't worry about it. That's not going to happen to you. Tell the person next to you, calm them down. Tell them, you're okay. That's not going to happen to you. But what can happen? Is that the devil wants us to shut down our heart. And first he goes for our mind, then he goes for our voice, and then he goes for our heart. Once he can get us to not believe in ourselves, he can get us to quit talking about what we want to create in our life. Once he gets us to stop imagining, he'll get us to stop talking about it. Once he gets us to stop talking about it, then he starts to shut down our zest for life. And we just don't want to try anymore or do very much anymore because it's why try? Can't even imagine, can't even talk about it. It's as though he's pushing a wedge down through us to try to split us in half. Guys, to keep a heart of gold open, I'm going to ask all of you, to seriously pull your sword out of its sheath and protect your mind. So here's a couple things you do to protect your mind. Number one, you get yourself a list of guardian angels. 10 guardian angels. How many? 10. A list of how many? 10. I've learned that I can talk to and ask permission for it to be my grandpa, my grandma, my great-great-great-uncle, people that I admire. I can read scriptures and find people in there, or look at my genealogy of people that I feel connected to, and they can be my guardian angel. But I'm always asking permission from Heavenly Father. Is it okay if I ask and they help me? But I have a list of 10. I always have a list of 10. And if 10 you feel like it's not enough, then you get a list of 20, but at least 10 people that you can quickly call upon with permission from God to be a guardian angel for you. That's one. Number two, position guardian angels next to you. Ask permission if it's okay, but position them next to you. Everywhere I go, I got a guardian angel right here and a guardian angel right here. It's like literally my bodyguards. If you think I'm crazy, don't do it. But man, I put 2 guardian angels with each child, and I put 100 around Kim all the time. All the time I'm surrounding her with guardian angels. My home, 100,000 around that. So let's go back to the beginning. Number 1, list of 10 guardian angels to call upon if you need that help, and you've already gotten permission to be able to do that. Number 2, position a guardian angel on both sides of you. Number 3, go home and clear your home. When I say clearing your home, it means go home and you literally ask permission for guardian angels just to fill the home. They start in the middle and they walk their way through your home until they walk out to the outside doors and they surround your house in the perimeter, and they've literally cleared all negative energy inside your home. There's something about us imagining that we got people protecting us that God sent. God sends people all the time to protect us. All the time. It's no different for us at this day to have guardians come help and protect us. So number 1, a list of 10 we can call upon. Number 2, have a guardian angel next to us. Number 3, clear out your home. Number 4, surround your home with guardian angels. Surround your home with guardian angels. And number 5, engage your mind into seeking to create something in your life. Goals. If you want to call it a goal or you want to call it a vision board, but that you are constantly in creation mode. A mind that is in creation mode has less devil in the mind. A mind that is stagnant and just kind of hanging out and doing whatever, you're going to have the devil sneaking in there so fast. Our mind is for us to build and create and make things better. And when we engage our mind in that activity, the devil's trying to put his wedge in that, and he can't, because we're up there working our thoughts to build and create something. That's number 5, yes? Number 6, deflaxen cord yourself. Is that even a word? Deflaxen, unflaxen. What are we going to call this? Untie yourself. I like that. Untie yourself. But Sunday is a great day to go, do I have any flaxen cords? How many do I have? And then a number will pop into my head. Do that for yourself right now. Ask yourself, how many flaxen cords do I have on my arms? And a number is going to pop up. What's your number? Got 13, 20, 6, 1,000, more than you can count, 12. Okay, my friends, Sunday is Untie Yourself Day. Sunday morning. Sunday morning, wake up. Okay, hey, it's Sunday morning, what should I do? Oh yeah, time to call in some guardian angels, and I'm going to clear off the flaxen cords. Okay, everybody play with me on this one. Hold your arm out, take this hand, and do this move. Take this hand, do this move. Okay, take this hand, turn the hand over, do this move. Take this hand like this, and go like this. Okay, tell the person next to you, you just took off your flaxen cords. If you feel like you don't have that belief in yourself that works, then bring some guardian angels in and imagine them slicing and dicing flaxen cords all off of you everywhere. Okay, how you doing on holding that sword, guardian angel? How's my guardian angels doing? I think they look great. Don't they look great? You guys can smile. You can smile. You can smile. You can smile. Don't you think you ought to walk into Walmart like this? And somebody goes, who are they? And you go, who? What are you talking about? Well, the people with swords. Oh, those are my imaginary friends that are guardian angels. And they'll go, no, they're not imaginary. They're right there. So, guardian angels pack swords. Something to get sometime in your life, get a sword. In our bedroom and in my kids' bedrooms, they have swords sitting in the corners. I do. We just reminding ourselves that we got guardian angels that will show up with swords and slice and dice those flaxen cords. All right, let's give a big round of applause to our guardian angels. Thank you, guardian angels. Thank you, guardian angels. Okay, in the last little bit here, with the different things that we talked about, I'm going to open it up for a few questions here before we wrap up here tonight. Are there any questions I can answer for you? If you do, go ahead, raise your hand. If you have any questions about what we talked about over here with heaven and earth and guardian angels and the things we talked about, are there any questions? Okay. Can we have some microphones, please? Right up here, right here. Gentleman right over there. And I saw somebody over here. Right there. Right there in the jacket. Okay, let's go right here. Go for it. Go ahead and stand up. Tell me your first name.
Laverne.
Hi, Laverne. Everybody say hello, Laverne.
Hello, Laverne. Okay, so my question deals with abusive children in my neighborhood. So they're the ones that need the most love from me in the community. But then I don't want to risk the safety of my children and the other kids.
Right.
And so all my girls have been abused by girls across the street. And now now DCFS got involved because now one of them is allegedly sexually abused. And so and it happened to the next door neighbor. I witnessed.
Okay, so what can I help with?
So how do I love and protect my community and them without? I'm just really stuck with that, safety.
Now, that's a good question. I don't know what's happening there and around in your own particular neighborhood and those things, so I don't know about that particular safety, but I do know on a thought level, an emotional level of safety. Definitely for you, do you find yourself more in a state of fear than in a state of hope?
Probably fear.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them
Sure.
playing with my kids
Right,
and hurting
sure.
her again in a worse way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you a praying family?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you guys pray for your neighborhood
Yeah.
and pray for those across the street?
Yep.
Yeah. And do you guys ever fast for them? Do you ever go that
We
direction?
had before when they first
Yeah?
hurt our kids.
Yeah. And do you pray for safety?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay. Well, for me, I know that if I was in your situation, what you're doing, it would be really super important to continue doing that. To seek for help from the neighbors and, to pull together with other neighbors
But I
to
don't
work
want to
together
judge
with
or
them.
hurt them, those families.
And so what do you want to do?
I want to create an open conversation so they're aware and they get help.
Sure.
Yeah. And they can help their children so their children know to be safe.
But at the same time, you got to keep your family safe, right?
Right. And keep and honor their dignity and not embarrass them, humiliate them.
Absolutely.
Do you know what
Absolutely. Now, I do know that we can be inspired in many ways to help people. And I really believe that if you continue to ask God, what you guys can do, you and the other neighbors around, what you can do to serve those people, to not give up on prayer.
I mean? Okay.
Not give up on prayer. But I do know this, a prayer that's in hope compared to a prayer that's in fear, fear can block us from receiving answers. And so for you to be able to really want the better things to happen to those people across the road, to be able to be in that place of really caring about them and really loving them. And maybe before you say your prayers at night and in the morning, take a moment and just check in with yourself and go, okay, is this going to be a prayer of hope or is this a prayer out of fear? And prayers out of fear, we can say those, but in this moment where you're wanting to receive inspiration to go help them, see if you can switch into that, I really care about them, and I really hope we can find a way to support them and help that family out.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I love that your heart's that way. I love that you really care about them. Even with what's happened to you and your family, that you still have that open heart towards them.
Of course.
Wow. Tells me you got a really good soul and a really good spirit. Good
Yes,
job.
I do. Thank you.
Don't give up, though. Don't give up.
Okay.
And I know everybody else would agree with us in the room. Don't give up there. Okay? Your heart's in a good place. Your heart's in a good place. Keep going that direction. All right?
Thank you.
Okay, one more time. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. He's right there. He's right there. Thank you. Yes.
Kirk, you've done such a beautiful job of bringing this to our awareness. You promised that you would tell us how to call this out when we see this happening to people around us. What can we do to call this out when we see someone we love with their flaxen cords?
So, I think you say, hey, you think the devil's in this? How else would you say it?
I kind of want to just say, hey, will you hold on to this rope really quick? Let me show you something.
You want to tie up your friends?
Sometimes that's the best way to learn.
So you want to show them about the flaxen cord part. That's what you want to show them?
Well, there's someone very specific who's 36 years old, and he came to my mind when you said what you said about suicide, and I need to know how to help him.
Well, first step, and always first step, stay close to them. Stay super close to them. When somebody's struggling, we have a tendency as people to distance ourselves from somebody who's struggling. When somebody's struggling, we take a step closer and keep the communication open and more consistent than normal. So when somebody's struggling, don't back away. But when they're struggling, step in there because they need some outside support in what's going on in their life. Now, they might not be in the position to hear a flaxen cord speech from you. You know, they might not be able to hear that. But what you could do is you could help them come up with some better things to say about themselves. You know, help them out in discovering their identity. You know how in the beginning of my story that image showed up of me being a gladiator? You know, write a note to your friend or find a picture of what you see, how you see them. Show it to them. Man, if they just put a picture up on their wall of what you see of them, and they look at that imagery can really boost them, really help them. But with somebody who's in that place, I would share imagery with them, and I would share really good music with them with good lyrics. Music gets into the soul faster than anything. Seriously, music can get in there and really help somebody get back together on the inside. Music with good lyrics and images of what you and how you see them. Something to share with them or to write a description about them, how you see them, and go share it with them and help them see that you see something great inside of them. I would do that.
Thank you. I know exactly what to do.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Is there a technique to keep these negative thoughts from coming back? Because I keep reliving the same negative thoughts over and over again.
Do you? Tell me your name.
Eric.
Eric. Eric, have you ever been through my Building a Mind of Steel program?
No.
Adam, will you go get Eric a scholarship?
Thank you.
Yeah. I think you got to go through my Building a Mind of Steel program. It's an online program. I think you heard me talk about it earlier today at Master Your Influence. And watch each one of the training videos. Watch each one. And you're going to have it in your library forever. It's not just for a certain amount of time and then it's gone. When you purchase the Building a Mind of Steel program, or you're getting it as a scholarship, you have access to that information as long as you want. I never take it away from you. You have that to be able to go back to. But in those 4 videos, there are stages. If you have something that keeps reoccurring in your mind and it won't go away, if you have a negative thought show up once in a while, there's techniques that you can just have it go away. But if you got something that just keeps pounding on you, you've let it in too far. You know that, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you know that. You've listened too much to it. It's gotten into you, and now it's at a higher level of having an effect on you. And so this Building a Mind of Steel program will teach you the different steps or the different phases of how to remove that from your mind. So would you accept a scholarship from me for the program?
Yes. Thank you for the upgrade. I'm
Yeah,
grateful.
that's awesome. Now the big question is, will you use the program?
Yes.
Promise.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you can cheat in the program. And cheating goes like this. You just watch all 4 videos and you don't do any of the work. The magic is in the application. Hey, if I can do this program and 6-year-olds can do the program and seriously shock their parents what they can do with managing their mind, 6-year-olds. Okay, it's not written for 6-year-olds, but 6-year-olds get it. 10-year-olds get it. 12-year-olds, 17-year-olds get it. Grandpas get it. I got grandpas that go there. I had a grandma, 60 years old, go through the Building a Mind of Steel program. She finishes it. She decides she's going to get her commercial real estate license. And all her grandkids are like, Grandma, what are you doing? She goes, I've always wanted to be a real estate agent, so I'm going to be a commercial real estate agent. I'm like, Grandma, you've never done this before. I know, before I die, I want to be a real estate agent. Because she got all of her negative thoughts out, right? She got all of her negative thoughts out. She went down, studied, got her test. Her family is proud of her that she got her test done. Within the first 6 weeks, she closed on one of her first project. She got a $40,000 commission check. Grandma came home to show Grandpa what she got. And she said, all the grandkids get to come over for a week, and we're having cake and candy for a week. Because Grandma got her head clear. And when she sent me that testimonial, and she was like, I've had negative thoughts for over 60 years plaguing me. And Kirk, in less than a month, I cleared them. And when she cleared her negative thoughts, her ambition came up. Her motivation came up. When you got negative thoughts, motivation goes down. Ambition goes down. And you feel down,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
How down? How far down?
It's complicated, but I'm at a low
It's
spot.
called bottom,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You're hitting bottom, aren't you? Takes one to know one. True?
True.
Okay. I'm glad you stood up. I'm glad you stood up.
Thank you, Kirk.
Earlier today at Massive Influence, when I offered Building a Mind of Steel and I changed it from $297 down to $47, I was hoping people got it because people at $47 to be able to get those 4 training videos and that whole course like that, I mean, if grandma can clear thoughts that have been haunting her for 60 years, and then she goes out and get her commercial, and she's just like super grandma, taking off like crazy. It's because it was easier for her because she didn't have all that plaguing thoughts that distract her and take her off in so many different directions, huh?
Yes.
It's like there's so many thoughts, you don't know what to do. True?
True.
And it's confusing.
Yes.
Yeah, the bottom gets super confusing. And if we don't clear our thoughts, we're all heading that direction sooner or later. The devil's tricky. So, Adam, can you hand that scholarship to him? Audience, would you support this to happen, please? Okay, so people that are successful, people who are successful and be more successful, or people that are struggling with a relationship or struggling with money, or they just don't feel like they're totally together on the inside, that's this Building a Mind of Steel program, super awesome for them. So for you, my friend, watch the video, do the activity. Promise?
Yes, sir.
And are you here with family?
I am.
Okay, and who's family with you? Who do you got?
My wife and my oldest son.
Okay, so your wife and your oldest son. So that Building a Mind of Steel program is for anyone who lives in your house. Okay,
Excellent.
so that's for your wife, it's for your older son. So is that your boy right there? Hey, what's your name?
Eric,
Eric. What do you think? Am I crazy?
no, I think you're inspired.
Really? Eric says I'm inspired, man. That's awesome. Hey, Eric, what do you think? You gonna go check out the Building a Mind of Steel program?
Definitely.
Okay, seriously. When he gets it all hooked up and he's online, he's got that library, you get on there. He can look at it when he's gonna watch it, but then you get on there and you can have your own time studying it, watching me teach you, walking through the worksheets, follow through all the worksheets, you guys. It changed my life. It's what I teach my kids. And so now I want to teach your family so you guys can do good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, one last question. Do you think anything you've got going on here is passing on to your kids?
Oh, I've planted a lot of dragon eggs.
Yeah? Okay, is it time to do some cleanup?
Absolutely.
All right, clean up, everybody clean up, right? Sorry, we just all put a purple dinosaur in everybody's head. Okay,
good.
so everybody supports this, yes? Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. Now, for those of you in the room who weren't here earlier, I offered the Building a Mind of Steel program, which is a 4-week online course, and the offer still stands for $47 for your family to receive that online course. Now, those of you who are on the camera with me right here, because this is being broadcast right now through Facebook, and also I believe our YouTube channel, so I got people literally all over the world. I know I got families down in Guatemala and down in Honduras watching me right now. I just want to wave at you and say hi, and thank you for tuning in and what we're doing here tonight at Heart of Gold. We're going to show on the screen right now a link that all of you who are all over the world watching right now, in all over the United States and in different countries, here's the link that you can go to register to have that the Building a Mind of Steel program come to you in your home. So event team, do you have that for me? Oh, they're showing it on the bottom of the screen right now. So you can go to that link and do an online purchase anywhere you live in the world. And then that will register you for the program, and you can receive what our friend over here just got as a scholarship. And so click on that link, get that ordered, and get that to your family so you too can have those additional techniques of how to clear out your mind. Because that is a big, big piece about what the devil's after. And let's really strengthen that by building a mind of steel. Now, I have 3 other scholarships for building a mind of steel. Is there anybody in the room who would like to have a scholarship? Did I hear anything? Yeah? Adam. Where'd Adam go? Did he go to get him? All right, he's going to go 3 more. All right, go grab those, Adam. Hurry. All right. So tell your friend next to you, I hope you get it. I hope you get it. Did some of you go like this? I hope you get it. I saw that. Okay, he's back there going through my stuff. Okay. All right, simmer back down. Just for a second. As he's going to get these scholarships out here, seriously consider, for $47, you spend more on that and a weekend of goofing around and going out to dinner and that kind of stuff. And $47 investing in your education is super smart.
What?
Super smart. So that $47 still stands till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You got tonight to register or first thing tomorrow morning to register. Have me show up in your home on your computer screen and train you about what's happening in your mind. It'll make a big difference. And I hope you allow me to go to that level to teach you at that next level. All right, you got him, Adam? All right, you're going to help me hand these out. Come right over here. Adam is my new personal assistant. Would you guys please give a big round of applause to Adam? He is now all of your best friend, isn't he? Okay. If he happens to walk by you, keep him your best friend. Okay, don't oh yeah, whatever. Don't throw him to the side. He's a good guy. He's tall. Yeah, I don't know what he ate when he was growing up, but he ate a lot of it. And man, he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job at taking care of me and keeping me in order back there. But before I come out here on stage and everything like that, and I really appreciate him and what he's doing. Kevin Varble, who was my assistant before Adam, Kevin wants to get out in the world and teach and inspire, and I love that Kevin has that courage to go out there and do it. And so I'm supporting Kevin in his dream to be a motivational speaker and to work for the company and teach all over the world. And super excited for what Kevin's doing. And so that opened up a position here for Adam to step into our lives here at 3 Key Elements. If you ever get a chance to meet this guy, he's awesome. Even when he's not carrying scholarships in his hands. Okay, how are we going to do this, Adam? Oh, yeah, you're going to pick. Okay, that's good. Okay, but this is what we're going to do. Those of you who are in the mode of I hope I get one, we're going to do this thing where you stand up. Stand up. If you're hoping you're going to get one, stand up. Okay, but this is where we go quiet. Those of you who are standing up, just stick a hand out and close your eyes. Everybody who's sitting down, close your eyes. This makes it super easy for Adam because then he's not getting attacked by people in the aisleways. So I'm going to trust Adam's intuition on this as he goes to deliver this in the hands of 3 families' lives that are going to change and improve. So no pressure, Adam, but you get to pick 3 families right now. Get to pick 3 families. So keep your eyes closed and hope that it goes to the best place possible for this evening. If you think it's only for you, let me teach you how to think a higher level. Hope that it goes the best place possible here tonight. Let's all think that thought. So it will go to the place where it'll serve its highest level possible before we go here tonight. And so Adam's going to take those out there. And you think positive thoughts. And watch your thoughts. Make sure they don't go negative or doubtful. Because as long as you believe that they're going to go to the best place possible, whoever gets it, you cause that to happen. Wherever it goes, if you believe it's going to go to the best place possible, then you were part of creating that. And so the person who gets it, you can say, you know what? I was part of causing that to happen. I was a huge part of that happening. Okay, all 3 scholarships have been delivered. Can we give a big round of applause to those 3 individuals? Just before I know we got to go here. I just want to hear who got the scholarships. Will you stand up? Not so you get mauled by people around you. Good. Okay, stay standing. Mic runners, run these people a microphone really fast. Why did you stand up? Here's a microphone. Microphone's on, please. Why did you stand up?
Because I have a little grandson that could really use this, and he's 6 years old.
You have a little grandson that's 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is he struggling right now, or you're just seeing that this
No,
could be
he is.
something? Hold the microphone a little bit closer.
He's struggling.
And he's 6. Tell me your first name.
It's Patty.
Patty. I want you to know this is becoming more common for 5 and 6-year-olds. It used to be when they turned 15, 16 that they would struggle, but it's moved down into this younger generation, hasn't it? You see it, don't you? So will you sit with him and go through it with him?
I will. He lives 3 hours away, but
So you're going to call them and say, hey, guess what you just got?
I will figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, and I hope that when you go back there to register, I hope that you can be part of it too, so you can check in with him and see how he's doing with it. Because it's going to make a really big improvement for him. I'm so glad you stood up. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Yes.
So I stood up because I wouldn't cry. My husband really struggles with negative thoughts. And there's only so much that I feel like I can do myself. So I'm excited to be able to help him and to also help me as well. But to be able to help him to finally let go of all those, to be able to become the person that I know that he can and that he's capable of. But he struggles with all the negative thoughts that have been in place for way too long.
What is it going to be like when you see that life come back inside of him? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I've started to see little glimpses here and there as we both finished the elite
Good.
program, which was amazing.
Good.
That I've seen him become more motivated.
Yeah.
And to see him just to start to take action.
There's ambition,
I can see the beginning.
motivation in there, isn't
And I
there?
can see that there's more to come if we could just get through a few more things to clear out.
What I love about this program is it takes off the negative thinking, so the ambition and motivation comes back into that person's face. You start to see them come alive and have energy and be excited about life, and boy, that sure touches the heart, doesn't it?
And that's what I'm very excited to see
Okay,
again.
that's awesome. And what's cool is it's not a one-time program and then it poofs, it's gone. You guys have that in your library to go back to and review. And if you got to go back and go, okay, how do I do that again? You got that to always have as a reference. That's my hope. My hope and my mission is that families have this to go back to and refer to, and so they can continue improving those skills that I'm teaching there. That's so cool. Let's give her a big round of applause. And our last one over here. Yes, sir. Why did you stand up?
I stood up because I've noticed recently in my life that negative thoughts are slowly becoming a more powerful force in my life, and I really don't like it. I've especially realized that today, thank you, and I don't want it to continue becoming a bigger part of my life. I want to stop that trend.
Good. I love that you are aware and you're noticing what's happening, because it costs, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's been controlling my actions and my decisions more and more. It's making me more afraid to do things. I feel like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I'm stuck and just going in circles or running on a treadmill and not going anywhere.
Well, it's time to break free, right?
Yes.
Time to get a Building a Mind of Steel, right?
Yes.
All right, let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope you all enjoy that. For the rest of you, those who are still thinking about it, boy, before that offers tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, before that's over, be sure to register for Building a Mind of Steel and get this program into your own home, too. Now, our last thing before we go here tonight, underneath your seat, there's a really cool sword. Pull that sword out. Okay, I like the sound effects. I like that. Okay, in fact, let's put it back and do those sound effects one more time. Okay, ready? Sound effects. Okay, so we end the Heart of Gold night by doing this. I'm going to yell out one word. You're going to burst out of your seat and yell the same word. I'll yell it one more time. You say it. I yell it one more time. You say it. Okay, so I'm going to say this word. You jump up and say it. I'll say it. You say it. I say it. You say it. And then we all travel home safely to our families. And from this point on, you have guardian angels with you. From this point on, you open up your heart because you feel safe with those guardian angels surrounding you. Are you glad you showed up? I'm really glad you showed up tonight. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, here we go. When I say this word, you jump up in the air and you yell it too. I'll say it, you say it, I say it, you say it, and we close the evening here for being at Heart of Gold. Okay, here we go. Ready, and go. Freedom! Freedom! And freedom! Thank you, everybody, for being at the Heart of Gold. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you.